Comstock schools. So, may I say, welcome to Comstock, home of the Warriors. I want to thank those people who used to be on the dais. They're here behind me now. Thank you. The problem with following outstanding, passionate speakers is following outstanding, passionate speakers. But I want to thank all of you. You give us hope. You make us strong. I would also like to thank Dr. Diane Ravitch. Who is most certainly here with us today, for her support. That support for what we're doing is significant. I think it's the educational equivalent of getting blessed by the Pope. I want to thank everybody that put this together, the whole Comstock team, board members, teachers, administrators, parents, and students who jumped into action, and they told me what they were going to do. You continue to blow me away. Thank you. I can't leave the thank yous without thanking my wife, Jackie. I've been ranting about this for a long time, but most intensely for the last week. Thank you, sweetheart. I also thank God I was on vacation this past week because I wouldn't have gotten any work done for the district. All right, Allie said earlier, today is a celebration. And what a group we have to celebrate with. Students, almost students, parents, grandparents, educators, leaders of government, leaders of unions, of our community. We come from Long Island, upstate, middle state, downstate, out of state. Your presence speaks volumes. And for every one of us here today, there are many more who wanted to be here but could not, but they are with us today. Now, we haven't had much to celebrate in the last 3 years or so, have we?
No.
Nope. To a greater or lesser extent, all of us have felt helpless, demoralized, frustrated, scared, angry, frightened for our children's futures. What's wrong? Things have changed so much. They have, haven't they?
Yes.
Well, remember, we, all of us, have been passengers on a plane being built in midair. As our commissioner described his APPR initiative, but applies to so many other things that are happening. There are a lot of planes. The Common Core plane, the Park plane. Well, none of that sad stuff today. None of it. No lone faces. Because today, we are canceling our flight reservations. Yeah. We are jumping off that plane. Hold hands. I don't want you to get hurt. But you really can't get hurt. Because that plane barely got off the ground. It never was going to fly very high. It wasn't designed to fly very high. Today's message is a very simple and very important one. The New York State Common Core Initiative, its implementation and testing regimen is hurting our children, and it must stop now. Yes! I was hoping you'd respond that way, otherwise I'd pretty much be done.
You're our hero, Dr. Rella.
All right. I'll let your hero tell you there's a problem. No one is listening to us. No one. Over the last 3 years, we've tried very hard to be heard. We've asked for help from state ed. They didn't hear us. The legislature, only a few heard us. They're right here. They're right here. And there are a few others, but only a few. The media, we thought they heard us, but the stories usually came out, didn't match what we said. Don't understand that. Who's going to say no to you? So what happened? Up until now, no one group has gotten it done. Think about it.
Except you.
Not yet. We're going. Not the educational leadership, school boards, superintendents, administrators, with apologies to President Annuzzi, not the unions, NICET, AFT, UFT, not even Beth Domino. Now, I want to tell you something. She does everything. She plans the rally, makes the phone calls, sends out the postcards and emails, speaks at the rally, gets the food, cleans up afterwards, follow-up phone calls, and plans the next rally. I would have bet, yeah, let her have it. And in the time that she has free, she's in my office yelling at me. But I would have bet the ranch that by now she would have worn them out. Even she couldn't get it done.
Got too much money.
Well, we'll talk about it. Because we can't let anything stand in the way of what we have to do. We can't. Our state representatives, these two guys can't do this alone. Assemblyman Graff has a bill. Let him frame it and put it up on his wall if nobody helps him. All right, I want to say something though. That's a good question. But for today, this has to be our only issue. Single-minded. Because otherwise, the attention that's paid to this will be, they complained about this, or they complained about that. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that the Common Core in New York State, the testing and implementation of the Common Core is hurting our children. It needs to stop now. And then we get to those other things. I'm not saying forget them. Then we'll get to those. All right. So state representative, even rallies didn't get done. 20,000 plus in Albany. Do you know not one word was covered down here on Long Island? Did you guys see anything? No? Did you hear anything? Well, were they invisible? Yes. Yes. We can't be invisible anymore.
Yeah.
We can't.
I gave her a platter, right?
Couple of things we know. No one is going to rescue us. Sporadic, separate efforts have not worked. They're good. But we're here today. None of the rhetoric that we used in the past has really been effective. It's okay for the moment, but it hasn't pushed it over. So what do? It's clear that we have to find a different way to get our message out statewide. Let's talk about today for a minute. Last Thursday, I wrote a letter to each of our state legislators in light of the release of the test scores. I also wrote a letter to our parents in anticipation of the avalanche of negative press and press releases from the state, filled with lots of spin, lots of magical thinking. What you do now in third grade will determine if you're going to college. What? Who decided that? Where is there any evidence of that? Nowhere. Magical thinking, they call that. It's when a baseball player wears his socks for 2 weeks and doesn't wash them because that means he'll get a hit. Magical thinking. So I posted these letters on the district website on Thursday night. We're closed Fridays during the summer. Now, normally during the summer, first week in August, that website would get about 30 hits. Friday morning, I woke up. My email box was full, crazy. Phones ringing, people calling from Texas, people calling from New Hampshire, an email from Indonesia. I'm not lying. All over the state. In fact, he went here. He went to kindergarten here, that guy. And he was on Diane Ravitch's blog and said, I'm the guy from Indonesia. And he talked about it. If you go on there, it's the one where she said I was a hero. That piece has comments. One of the comments is that fellow from Indonesia. So I knew something had happened. Now, I'm a technology immigrant. You can tell a technology immigrant because a technology immigrant will send you an email, then call you up and say, hey, did you get my email? So I couldn't really figure out for a second what was happening. But I knew it was apparent that some of the things I said in those letters found resonance elsewhere. And they did. And they did. And it hasn't. I'm also convinced, because last week, I do a phone message to the district, usually every week, but I did it in preparation for this. So the next day, I look at my stuff, and there's me talking on somebody's